And so I think
So why don't we get started at 6:33?
yeah,
And Wayne, why don't we get right to our meeting format review, as we
okay,
always do, being
absolutely. Yeah, all right, meeting format. This meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom, and attendance by board and commission members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards a quorum. The meeting may be broadcast live and will be recorded on ECAT.
Recording in progress.
So attendees on Zoom can use the raise hand function to be recognized and called on by the chair. Otherwise, we'll try to keep the meeting as close to a live meeting as possible. One notable exception is that votes need to be taken by a roll call. And the way we tend to do it with the historical commission meeting is because I can see everyone, I just call on people and they state their name and, yes or no or here. And we also have to do a roll call attendance. So I can do that, John, if you want me to call on folks.
yeah, I could start with myself here.
All right, so, and then Tim has gotten back.
Tim's back, yep.
Okay.
Hey, Wayne,
Yes, sir.
did you get a hold of Justin?
Yes, yeah, Justin and Michael, they're both in the
All right,
attendees list.
they needed the passcode. He had texted me. Okay.
Yeah, excellent. So Tim, are you here?
Yes.
Okay. And let's see, who else do we have? Amy?
Spencer here.
Thank you. Ed Hands?
Hands here.
Thank you. And Bob Bishop?
Bishop here.
Okay, and our new member,
Yeah.
Robert Cordini, who is
All right.
muted at the moment.
Rob Cordini here.
Excellent, thanks.
Thanks, Wayne.
You bet, you bet. And then next up, I think John was chairing us while in your absence, Tim, but now you're back. I think the next thing up is designated alternates as voting members. So a motion and a second to designate Bob Bishop and Robert Cordini as voting members for this meeting.
Early motion.
Second.
Okay, and we'll do a roll call vote again. Hurley.
Aye.
Ventresco.
Aye.
Spencer.
Aye.
Hands.
Aye.
And let's see who we're missing. And then just for the fun of it, Bob Bishop
Aye.
and Robert Cordini.
Aye.
Excellent, thanks. Okay, so, and I think that's all the big stuff. Then we've got our new member, Robert Cordini, if we could just welcome him.
Yeah,
So-
welcome, Bob.
Welcome aboard, Robert.
Thanks.
Welcome.
And I know
Welcome.
Wayne and I keep on seeing each other, but
Talk
and-
about the initiation process later on.
oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that running down Main Street or something?
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you for joining, and really glad to have you. And I think, obviously, you know how to get in touch with Tim and myself, and, any questions you have, do reach out, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And then the next item on the agenda is talking about the potential local historic district for the Keith House. And we have in the attendees list here, we've got the tenant, Justin LeWinter, and we've got the owner, Michael LeWinter. And Justin, Michael, I'm going to promote you to panelists. So if you could accept that when you see that promotion come over. Okay, and promote to panelist. Excellent, they're both going to be rejoining. Perfect. I'm going to try Michael LeWinter again. Oh, there he is. Excellent. Okay.
Okay. Turn the light on.
Hey, Justin.
All right, guys.
Good. How
Thank
are
you.
you?
Thank you for your time tonight.
Of course.
So, the hope for tonight is to, just talk with yourselves about the proposal and answer any questions you might have and, talk through timelines and, things like that. So thank you so much for coming tonight and for being such good stewards of Easton's oldest house. Yeah, and yeah, thanks. So, Tim, do you have anything to say, or
Yeah,
should we
yeah,
ask? Go ahead.
I think just how we got here, how we arrived at this,
Hmm.
not a decision, but a proposal. We had a little scare there when we saw the house was being sold, and I thought, wow, we knew Justin was a good tenant there and intended to stay, and life happens. And fortunately, it has stayed with Justin, with the family. So we realized that had this ended up in the wrong hands, if you will, we could have lost it. And this is a little, not a preemptive strike, but I guess it's an attempt now, with your cooperation, with the family's cooperation, to put this into a local historic district, which would protect it in perpetuity. So we're hoping that you're in alignment with our thoughts.
I am, as of right now, obviously we have questions. My father has questions.
Sure, that's what we're here for.
I'm obviously the steward of the property and maintain the property. We're concerned about, well, my father's concerned about, if we ever needed to resell the property, what would the implications be? I'm more concerned with, like you guys, the preservation of the house and not building any additions onto the house. In fact, kind of returning the house to what it should have been. As I appreciate what the Dwares did with the house, the metal roof on the barn needs to kind of be returned to a cedar shake roof. So, and then there's other things like grants and stuff that, we hope we would have easier access to in the future as well.
I wouldn't guarantee this would. Maybe Wayne, you could elaborate if this would get you a grant. I guess it may help.
It may help. I think
yeah.
there are smaller grants from the state or from other nonprofits. I don't know that it would be a CPA funds eligible thing, but I think it would definitely help. I think the 1776 Foundation offers grants. So it could be advantageous.
Yeah,
for that.
Because they would know that the money is going towards something that's going to be preserved.
And obviously, if we have the backing of you guys, that would be even better.
Right.
Obviously, with the preservation of this place, and not only the house itself, the outbuildings as well.
Right.
The barn is the oldest barn in the country on its original foundation, and it needs work also.
Well, the goal here is to preserve the house itself, and if the other buildings go along with it, that's a bonus. So your question was at one point, if we go to sell it, what happens? The restriction would be that the original house would have to stand, and that anything was going to be done, and correct me, anyone, if I'm wrong, would have to be, if there was an addition going on or whatever, it would have to be period correct. I don't think we wouldn't want to see some contemporary thing come flying out. So, there'd be some, but why would someone buy that property and do that? It just doesn't seem like that would be feasible.
Unfortunately, there were people that were trying to do that.
Yeah, there's always,
Wayne,
Yes, sir.
people who are interested in buying real estate, as we all know, especially, at least with my experience, and we saw it when we went to the, when we bought it at the auction. There are people who are looking to buy something on the cheap, something perhaps old, not knowing that it's historic, with the intent on demolishing it and putting up new construction, whether it be a single home or more than or 2, 3 homes. I don't know what the lot could accommodate in terms of zoning restrictions, but yeah, there's always somebody looking to buy it, and they may not have the intent that we would have, and so far as maintaining the property as a historical building. So that would, that's one of our concerns, or at least my concern. Um, Insofar as becoming a historic district, I really need to know what the restrictions are. Aside from what we just discussed, that obviously there are limitations as to what can be done structurally to the building, cosmetically to the building. Are there any other uh, restrictions that we need to be aware of? Because now we're not only answering, I guess, to the town of Southeastern, but again, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Do we have to come to you as an organization anytime we want to make any kind of modification or improvement, or even go ahead and sell it?
It depends on the proposed work you do. So the Historical Commission has review over exterior changes to historic buildings. So things that would require a building permit generally is the way to think about it. So when you're replacing a roof, replacing windows, replacing doors, or putting on additions, or demolishing the house or an outbuilding, all of these things would be subject to Historical Commission review and approval. And the commission's past practice and current practice, it's the way local historic districts and historical district commissions work in Massachusetts, is the proposed materials and design is reviewed and approved by the commission, and the commission works with the owner to make sure that what is being proposed is an historically appropriate material or look for the building. What gets reviewed, the work that the commission has done in the 11 years I've been here, Easton has 2 local historic districts, one along Foundry and Morse, and then another in downtown North Easton, is re-roofing, putting on new roof shingles, replacing windows or restoring windows if there are, the original windows, re-siding, putting on wood or, historically appropriate hardy plank siding, that sort of thing. In a couple of instances, we've worked with property owners on putting on rear dormers or additions or garages behind buildings to make sure that they are appropriate as seen from the public right of way. So it's that sort of work that would be subject to commission review.
All right, and Wayne, you and I discussed this earlier today, of course. I apologize for the redundancy, but as the building is set now, not being a member of the historic district, are we under the same kind of restrictions as we would be if it became a historic district?
No. Right now, the changing the materials to the exterior of the building would not be subject to historical commission review.
Okay.
All right. Well, then with that, I am led to believe, and from what I've researched, that the house is already on the National Register of Historic Places.
Yeah.
There's no dictation with that.
Correct.
That it would do. We would have to do anything to sell the state or the government that, we were changing anything on the house.
No, not under National Register listing.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the local historic district that provides that level of security and protection by having this method of review, so that significant, these changes would be appropriate.
Okay.
Regular maintenance is not something one would have to come to.
There's Justin, there's no protection from the National Register. That's kind of an
Okay.
honorary thing.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
And,
Yeah.
and you know, again, if you're looking for grants, it surely would be a stepping stone, as would the
Yeah.
local historic district.
Now, I know where Bay Road itself is a historic district, so
Right.
are we essentially create?
No, it's on historic district.
It's in National Register.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
because we have the signs on the road that says it's a
Yeah.
historic district, but
Yeah.
it looks like they haven't been updated in a
Yeah.
long while.
It gets there's a few several layers of this, but the local historic district we're proposing is the
So
maximum. That's the one.
Okay.
I've got another question. If
Okay.
we were to do this, tell us what the benefits are. What have other homeowners of historic properties, what have they benefited from being a historic district? Where are the benefits?
A part of it is knowing that the investment in the property will be protected, that folks who restore their property and care for it in a historically appropriate way, that will be safeguarded.
Wait, excuse me, I didn't mean to
Yes, sir.
interrupt. But when you say ensure that the property will be protected from whom?
Future
Mhm.
buyers who may want to make significant inappropriate alterations.
So that's not, I don't mean to be difficult, but that is a protection not for us as the owner, we're gonna be
Yeah.
selling it. So
Yeah.
what are the benefits? I really need to understand this. I told you earlier, I'm not familiar with this.
Mhm.
Justin is far more educated on this than I am. I just need a better understanding. Where are the benefits of putting this property into a historic district? What are the benefits for me? Forget about Justin for the moment.
It's to lay it plainly, he's concerned as a property owner, whereas I'm concerned as someone who is a history or
Right.
Right.
involved
Yeah.
in the history of the property.
And don't get me wrong. I greatly appreciate that. And I think the property should be kept as a historic building and should be given the proper provisions and protection. But again, I'm looking at this from strictly, I don't know, call it a business position.
Well,
Where's the benefit to
look at it,
us?
for example, if I want to build a picket fence, or not a picket fence, a wattle fence around the property, right, which would be historically accurate to, sometime late 18th century, early 19th century. Do I have to go to the commission to build a wattle fence?
No. No.
Okay.
No, we're strictly structure alone.
Okay.
Yeah. To answer, Michael, your question is, you obviously realize that it's a narrow, I don't know, I say narrow, marginal people that want an older property, and this is another layer that would be advantageous to know that if they get in there, they are protected. There's value in that.
I hear you, but correct me if I'm wrong. Does that not limit my market if Justin and I, wanted to sell it?
Yes,
Yeah, it does a
kind
little.
of, but it also allows us to, at least from what I'm looking at, I think that it would allow us to kind of weed out people and then, find a buyer that would be willing to pay the premium for owning property that would be protected in perpetuity.
Oh boy.
Tim is driving, I think, and is reacting to things in his environment. And then we also have Ed has his hand raised.
Yeah, I'm not we have two historic districts in town, the Northeastern Main Street district, and then the one down in across from the regional school.
Southeastern.
Yes, yeah, I know very well at Southeastern. And I helped write both of those. And I just want to be disabused of something that I have in my head, which is that within certain limits required by the Mass Historical Commission, we can tailor the restriction. So when Justin asked, could he put up a wattle fence? The answer to that is it depends on the restriction that we agree on. It's not just the house, it can be any structure there, which we don't want to do. We want to preserve the structure. So each one of the districts has different
Requirement.
restrictions. Yeah, exactly. And compared to some of the older historic districts on the Cape, et cetera, which so many property owners hear about, ours is probably the least restrictive. In Northeastern, for instance, it's only the area that is visible from the street that's covered by the restrictions. So it's tailored in the process that we're asking you to go along with us on. We would be tailoring the restriction in interaction with you. It listening to it and not being a property owner or an old-time property owner, I was a little concerned that it sounded overly draconian, and I don't think that's the intent. I think it's the feeling that it's been a really hot day and it's been a long day and everybody wants to go home. We're asking you to begin the process. Over the years, and I've been on the commission over 40 years, we've looked at that issue of how does a restriction, a conservation restriction, a historical preservation restriction, or any other kind of restriction affect the value of your house? And the answer is it's hard to say. In the case of the DeWares, they were willing to pay a premium for the property because it was a historic house. But you're right, Mr. DeWare, Mr. DeWare the older, that it does restrict, it does potentially restrict your market. As you pointed out, at the auction, there were people there that had no respect at all for that house.
No, they had no interest in buying it as historical property. I'm certain their intent was to buy it cheap and then, again, probably demolish it and put up new housing. Let me ask you another question, if you folks don't mind. First off, I want to just say something about Justin. Justin is a remarkable young man. He's done amazing things with that property. I can't say enough about him and how he has maintained the property and improved it to secure the history of it. He's just done a remarkable job. So I just want to make sure all of you folks know that. You probably do already, but I just feel that I have to mention it to you guys. Let me ask you this: what is to do this? If we were in agreement to do it, where is the benefit to the community and to your organization?
Well, we have the oldest house in town with the oldest barn in America, and that's certainly something that gets pointed out to everybody. It's part of historical tours, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't give us a financial benefit, but that's one of the things. And I'd like to jump in here and point out that a lot of the work that Justin has done has been inside.
Mm-hmm. Right.
None of that would be affected in any way by the preservation restriction.
No. For example, I know the house was red and white for a very long time. Through some, restoration work, it seems to me that the house at one point was unpainted with blue windows, for example. Not particularly fond of the yellow paint. I know everyone knows it as the big yellow house, but at one point I would like to restore it to its original, and it'll never be original to 1717, but it was unpainted with blue windows. to be more in fit and trim with its original appearance. Which obviously, you know,
When we were
regardless.
talking about the different districts, that's
Yeah.
that's oftentimes the most controversial thing in a historic district. And paint color or lack of paint color is not covered under either of the restrictions that we've done.
I'm good with that then.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, basically the rule of thumb is anything that you have to pull a building permit for that you can see from the street.
Yep.
Is, you know, something we'd want to talk with you about.
Yeah, and
But-
you know, you guys understand, and this is just talking, that I run this as I do tours of the house, and I run it as a bed and breakfast. I at least have no intention of changing anything on the property. I don't want to add an addition to it. I don't want it to become a motel like the Lafayette over in Foxborough. You know, we just want to make sure that our investment is sound in what we purchased and you know will be in the future. And you know, kind of like every other property that its value, at least in recent times, continues to go up, and that we're set with our purchase.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah. Justin, I couldn't have said it better than you. I mean, that's exactly, from my perspective, that's really one of my major concerns. And not to say, again, I mentioned it before, not to say that I'm not interested in the benefit of the historical district. I think I think personally it's a wonderful thing. I really do.
We're both from Long Island, my father and I, and you know, on Long Island, before I moved up here, there was a house from 1786 that was demolished, just from the time that I grew up. You know, vast swaths of farmland and everything has disappeared, which is, you know, why I moved up to Easton. Kind of like it reminded me of what Long Island was 30 years ago when I was growing up. So we definitely understand, and you know, obviously, I don't want to and change anything about the house. That you know, we're just concerned about the financial part. That's really it.
I think, you know, there's several single family homes that are in local historic districts in Easton. There's a couple of them on Main Street downtown.
Yep.
And then what, 4 or 5 along Morse and Foundry.
Yep.
And the, you know, resale value hasn't changed one way or another, really.
No.
They're just they ride along with property values in
Yeah,
general.
I looked into that, and you are pretty much 100% on that. You know, and I think that, and you know, once again, just kind of back and forth. You know, I went to the meeting that Dale brought forth about the walls being torn down over where the new
on South Street.
On South Street. I think it kind of when you start changing things, it starts to destroy the character of the town, and it's what has brought at least me to Easton is that you guys have done a very good job at preserving the history of the place, and I hope. And from what I've talked to, at least other people in the town, it's what's brought them to Easton. I think that it is actually, at least in my opinion, to your financial benefit to preserve the town as it is. And, you know, as other towns across Massachusetts demolish their historic buildings, you know, we watched this town has been witness to you know, almost every event in early American history. We watched the Continental Army march up Bay Road, right? And Washington stopped here to procure cannons. And I understand, but even people back then wanted to preserve their property and their property values.
That's always the case, as we know.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
So, I don't have any other particular questions. I'll talk to my father, and I understand what you guys are trying to do. And if you're willing to work with us, I think from my side at least, I think it'll probably be a go ahead, and that's it.
Thank you. Yeah, we hope so. We think this could be a really good thing, that would not really impact property values and could safeguard, the oldest house in Easton.
Of course. As long as we have you guys here.
Yeah.
So I had talked to Stephanie Cardino about this. The Meadowbrook Park that is adjacent to our property. We noticed that part of the trail runs through our property, and there's probably like 75 or 80 square feet of the trail that runs through the property, and we were just worried about the liability issue of people walking down the trail through the property and what can be done about it.
Yeah. So that is a question for Jen Carlino. She's not here this week, so definitely reach out to her, send her an email. And it sounds like, verify is it like actually an official trail that's on a trail map kind of thing?
Yeah, it is.
And then is there somewhere off your property to relocate it? And then, work with Jen and, the Conservation Commission on scouting out a new route.
Yep.
And then obviously, putting up a no trespassing sign. She dealt with a similar issue near the Clifford Grant reservation, that open space behind the schools complex.
Yep.
And had to put up some no trespassing signs while they rerouted the trail in that exact thing.
As of right now, a tree fell down, so it's actually
okay.
blocking the trail, but regardless.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, I think that's it for us. I'll talk with my dad, and which one of you guys do you want me to be in contact with?
Probably me.
Okay.
You've got my phone number, and
Yep.
That way I can share the information back out. There's the open meeting law question, right? So the commission cannot deliberate privately. It has to be in an open meeting. So if you reach out to me as a staff person, then I can be that go between.
Okay. Cool.
And I think the timeline is we like to continue the conversation over the summer, do a actual hearing about this in September, and for town meeting.
And if you guys want to, if any of you guys ever want to, stop by and talk about it, and you see my car in the driveway, come knock on the door.
Thank you. That's very generous. Yeah. And I know that John's been raising his hand for a bit.
Yeah. Just a couple of comments. First, I'd like to thank the both of you and your dad. You are the kind of people that we're looking for to preserve properties like this. And to what your dad was saying, it could have been a worse situation where someone would have bought this. We would have gone through a demolition delay for a year, and then somebody might have torn it down. To Mr. Winter, your father, the big thing that value to, I think you were alluding to more of a value. I think the value is, and to what Ed had mentioned earlier, it's a small window of people who would be interested in the house, but the ones that are interested are going to love what you're doing. And by putting this going forward, what we've discussed tonight is going to protect that. I have a Colonial. It's only 40 years old. I've tried to maintain it with a certain look and style. But I know sometime it's going to get passed on. And I would love to say, you got to keep it this way. But this, obviously, I don't have age on my side. This has stood the test of time. It's made it through several hundred years. And to find people like yourselves is beyond commendable. And I speak for myself, but I think everybody on this commission that we thank you. And to Ed's point, which was excellent, that we can tear this, if you are going forward with it, and hopefully you are, that it will alleviate some concerns that you might have. which the biggest one that I hear constantly is, so you're going to tell me what color I can paint my house, or so forth and so forth. The other thing that I wanted to mention, I brought it up in the past, and I've had this debate with people who don't really have a love of history of our country, of our community, within our state, and so forth and so forth, is, you know what, don't live in the past. We can tear that down and build a bigger building, better building, whatever the case may be. And I'll kind of veer off a little bit and I'll say, oh, by the way, it's off subject a little bit, but are you a traveler? And more often than most, they'll say, I'll ask questions like, do you travel locally, within the state, within our country? Do you go to Europe, Asia, whatever the case may be? Oh, yes. I said, do you travel to islands? Yes. Let's start with local, Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard. Do you travel to Europe? Yeah, I've been to Italy many times. So what draws you to those places? They're highly restricted. And all of a sudden, that person will change their mind. It's not that we're telling you what to do. It's you telling us, basically, I want to protect this, and you guys can put this together for us within limitations. Again, drawing back to what Ed had mentioned, that it's nothing compared to some of the restrictions that you might see on a different level. With that said, and I've always ended with something that I think is appropriate, and this commission members have heard it before. And it's a saying that goes, do not let the past dictate who we are, but let it become a great part of who we will be. And from what I'm hearing tonight, the both of you have that feeling. And again, I thank you, and hopefully we can go forward.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
thank you very much. I appreciate it all.
Much of the credit, again, I've just got to say, much of the credit, not much, all the credit goes to Justin for having done what he's done and accomplished with that property. And all I can do is back him up and support him as best as I can. But this can turn into, the more I listen to you guys, this can turn into a terrific partnership. So as Justin said, he and I will further discuss it, and he'll get back to you guys.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you all.
Good night, all.
Thank you for your time, guys.
Vice versa.
Thank you, gentlemen. I
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
So, Wayne, Tim had just texted me that he's lost.
He's
The
lost his connectivity. Yeah.
So he can fill in what we have left. And I believe, if you don't mind, unless we've had to finish something else in regards to what we just left.
No, I think that's good. Like I mentioned to the Lewinters just now, we've sent the preliminary study report to Mass Historical. They have accepted it complete as of June 30. So we have to wait 60 days before the required public hearing, which takes us really to the first week of September. So, and the week or so after Labor Day. The warrant for town meeting closes, I believe, September 8th. So I think it would be nice if we could have the public hearing and get all of our steps done, and then on the warrant, and for the November, I think 17th town meeting. But we could also schedule the public hearing after the warrant closes. We could just put a placeholder on there.
Did you give him before? It seemed like he still had a lot of concerns, obviously, and we hopefully addressed all of them tonight, in some type of a bullet form that he can look at, so he has it in front of him, or you can email him going into the district.
I did give some information, yeah, and where you can find the bylaw online, and
Yeah. Justin seems to have familiarized himself with some of that stuff.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I'm assuming he's aware that we will assist him in trying to go the right direction on anything also, correct?
Yeah, and that's definitely something that I talked about with Mr. Lewinter a couple of times.
Okay, thank you.
It's we like to work with people on meeting what they need to get done in an appropriate way for the structure.
I think that went well.
I think so, yeah. So we'll see as they circle back, and we'll hopefully be moving forward. Yeah, so I guess you are our chair now, right, John? So it looks like the next thing
Yes.
is what, designating somebody as the rep to the CPC?
So, correct, which I serve as the representative of the Historical Commission. Happy to do so again, unless somebody has some questions about that going forward.
I'll make a motion for John to continue if he accepts it.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have to do a roll call.
We've got to do the roll call,
Yeah.
yeah, so,
Roll call.
Ventresco,
Do it. Aye.
where are we at? Spencer
Aye.
and, Hands
Aye.
and Bishop
Aye.
and, Corradini.
Aye.
Excellent, I think I got everyone, yeah,
Yes.
excellent, thank you, John.
Oh, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, we still have one more.
Minutes.
We still have one more. We still have one.
We have to end the letter of support for the open space plan.
Which, yeah, if everybody had a chance to read it, it looks great, awesome. And to Wayne's point, we don't have to have any other discussion. Does anybody have anything to say about that? That letter, they had a chance to read it, that was in our agenda. Great. Review and acceptance of May 7th, 2025 minutes. Do we have any questions,
Wait, do
concerns?
we have to vote on the letter?
I think it would be helpful.
Yeah.
Roll call again, Ventresco,
Aye.
Spencer,
Aye.
Hands,
Aye.
Bishop,
Aye.
and Corradini.
Aye.
And who is the motion and second on that? I've got Spencer as the motion.
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Bob. Okay. And then what are we at? Where were we, John? May 7 minutes, I think.
For May 7 minutes, has everybody had a chance to read them? I'm always trying to find a mistake, but I can't.
No one-
Thank you,
Okay.
Kathy.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of
I'll
May
second it.
Great. Ventresco,
Aye.
Spencer,
Aye.
Hands,
Aye.
Bishop,
Aye.
and Corradini. If you've read them, you can actually vote to accept if you believe they.
Yes,
are
I
accurate.
did read them. Yeah. Aye.
Thank you. All right, that's unanimous. And now Ed's favorite, a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Second.
And Ventresco too. All right, Ventresco,
Aye.
Spencer,
Aye.
Hands,
Aye.
Bishop,
Aye.
and Corradini.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 7:16. Everybody, thank you for your time tonight. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Welcome, Robert.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
welcome, Robert. Yeah, thanks for
welcome.
joining.
Yes.
All right, be well, everybody.
Bye
Take
now.
care.
Bye.
See you tomorrow, John.
Yeah, see you in the
Oh
morning.
yeah, see you both.
I'll see you in the
tomorrow.
morning, Ed, and I'll see you
Oh yeah,
tomorrow night.
tomorrow night too. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm heading to Oak Games now.
Oh.
So-
I got you too. I want to see the concert.
Yeah, community service.
All right. Enjoy. See you all later.
All right.